Welcome to the Spoilers of the Damned podcast. Spoilers of the Damned podcast. Hello, welcome to Spoilers of the Damned podcast, sidecast talking all about Twin Peaks Season 3, The Return. It is me, Tom.
And me, Matt. Hello.
And we have watched part 14. And we're here to talk to you today about part 14.
Yes, there's lots to talk about.
Yep, some shit went down, didn't it, Matt?
Lots of shit went down. Lots and lots and lots of stuff happened.
There is legitimately some stuff that, as I'm going over the plot synopsis for this episode, I go, oh yeah,
oh, and that happened as well.
Yeah, because we kind of moved from thing to thing, and lots of things were happening, and I had a job to remember exactly what had happened altogether. So yeah, overall, I think we kind of thought part 12 was a bit of a dud. Part 13 picked up a bit. Now part 14 is probably, well, back up where we sort of like are really enjoying the show.
Yeah,
How did you
pretty much.
feel about it?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I think the consensus, I agree with the consensus online. This has probably been the best episode since episode 8.
Yeah, it's quite strong. There were a couple of bits in the previous episodes that I really, really liked, but overall the episodes kind of like had other stuff I didn't that dragged it down. Yeah. I mean, if we were just grading the scene with the Mitchums in the desert, as I've said before, that to me is my favourite thing in the whole thing so far. But
just anything with the Mitchums is good.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how that plays out when the assassins rock up in Vegas. But I'm kind of hoping the Mitchums don't get shot in the process.
I hope not. I really hope not.
That would suck. Or if not, they have another kind of prophetic dream that kind of guides them through it. So
yeah, hopefully there's been a strong thing in regards to dreams in the entire series. It's been like that's a really a strong connection with everything. I've seen a few theories this time.
Okay.
Where people are saying, oh, they keep talking about dreams, and and there's the scene with Monica Bellucci in this one, and people are saying, like, what if the whole season is just like someone's dream, like Cooper's dream, like, oh, that sucks so bad.
Yes, it's
so
like there's kind of like there's logic there that could like explain it happening that way, but I kind of don't want it to happen that way.
No, that'd be such a cop-out.
So yeah, it's one of those few instances where it was all a dream could actually, like, it could mean something in regards to what's going on. But it would be a bit kind of
shit
underwhelming, I think. But,
especially 18 episodes long as well.
Yeah.
All an hour each.
It would be the ultimate kind of troll, though. As we've been seeing, I think this season of television in particular exists to stroke David Lynch's ego.
No, yes.
He's having another one of his Monica Bellucci dreams.
Yeah, like, oh, you just dream about Monica Bellucci, do you? Of course you do.
She was there again. Oh, yeah, I bet she was.
Yeah, I bet she was in your dreams. As soon as you said that, she felt a bit skeeved out. So, I don't know about your creepy sex pervert dreams.
But it was kind of funny because I knew she was in the cast list.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few instances of someone, well, I guess all the musicians play themselves, but one of the few instances of an actual kind of like real world mention of someone who's real. Does that make sense?
It was really weird.
Yeah, that whole sequence though was kind of weird in a good way.
Yeah. So now we know that Twin Peaks takes place in our universe.
Yeah. If anyone's been listening to the previous cast, it's kind of like what Resident Evil Vendetta did with Breaking Bad, but not anywhere near as bad.
Yeah, nowhere near as bad, because it's Monica Bellucci, so we give her a free pass because it's Monica Bellucci.
Yeah.
And she's awesome.
Oh, it's also important to kind of, I think, commend the people behind this season of Twin Peaks, especially given the climate, because as we're recording this, last week, HBO had a leak that meant that episode 4 of Game of Thrones leaked early, and now this week they've had another slip up where HBO Spain accidentally played or allowed people to be able to play on their demand service the next episode. So currently we're sat, what day is it today we're recording? Wednesday. And yes, for us in the UK, Monday's Game of Thrones is already out there for plenty of people to rip off and say, oh, this is my theory, and then proceed to post, like complete synopsis of the thing.
Yeah. And the thing is, I was going to say, someone's lost their job over that.
Yeah, I literally just saw that 4 people have been arrested in connection with that Star India leak, the one for episode 4.
Good.
Yeah. Good. I did watch the leak, but I haven't watched this leak, and will probably cave at some point. But I'm not one of those people who will post about it, or if I do post about it, it's just to go, I saw it, and I'm not talking about it.
Yeah, it's like, I saw it, it was good, or I saw it, it was shit.
I really even try not to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we shall see. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is that it's really a testament to Twin Peaks and the fact that, like, none of this shit has really kind of leaked that much.
Well, apparently something happened in Russia.
Oh, what happened in Russia?
I think some of the episodes a similar thing happened.
Oh, okay. Well, I know in Germany last week they got episode 14 instead of episode 13. But there were no one could get the leak online. It didn't circulate enough for people to be able to kind of capture it and upload it. But has that happened in Russia?
I think it's a case of they've accidentally, like with Game of Thrones, apparently something similar to, oops, people can watch the next 3 episodes or something.
Holy shit!
Like, yeah, fuck you.
We only have 4 episodes left, so that's pretty big deal.
Yeah, so basically, I've got to stay away from everything.
Yep, I'm going to finish talking to you on the internet, and then I'm just going to unplug my house. And
just unplug my house. My house is gone, never to be seen again. Unplugging it's going to float away.
And it's going to be worse because you'll find this out when you listen to the next cast, but we won't be recording next week, so we'll be doing a 2-parter for the next 2 parts, and then a 2-parter for the final 2.
Oh, yes, because they're airing together, aren't they?
Yeah, so next week I won't be able to watch Twin Peaks until Friday, so I'll be completely avoiding the internet because I've got family coming to stay. So
fuck that. I'm watching it on the Monday.
Yeah, no, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't do that. But maybe I should just watch Game of Thrones now.
Oh, that's your excuse, I see.
Yes. Yes. See, it's recorded. I'm going to be sat there 10 years from now for my review. Whether I can be put out on bail, and they'll just be playing this recording of myself incriminating myself.
This is where I went wrong.
This is the bit where I make a sad face. Okay, so let's get on to part 14 of Twin Peaks,
yes.
Which we agree is a very strong episode. The episode begins with... I can't remember if this actually began with this, but Frank talks to Gordon, basically. Gordon's returning his phone call. He doesn't know that it's Frank. He's actually expecting Harry. But which is another thing that kind of lends itself to this idea that the guy unfortunately couldn't come back, so they wrote Frank as a last-minute thing and kind of substituted him. So
I'm certain of that.
Yeah. And so it remains to be seen if he will be one of those... surprise guests that everyone is kind of hoping for.
I should hope so. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see him again.
Well, yeah, I'm still holding out for Chris Isaac. Even if it's just at the Roadhouse, he's performing right now. He's doing gigs right now, so
really,
yeah, it would be really good. Even if he just kind of, he disappears unexplainedly, and then 25 years later he's performing on stage and completely different.
Just, and now performing at the Roadhouse, the Chester Desmond. The Chester Desmond.
Yeah, the Chet Desmond. You went to say Chet Desmond the same time you said Chester Desmond and said Dead Chester. What?
Chester.
Oh god, I just said Dead Chester. That's awful.
His character's dead. His character is probably incredibly dead.
Unfortunately, he's one of these Blue Row cases. I just said Blue Row.
Blue Rowboat.
We're drunk, basically, people. We came from work today, so we're quite tired and also drunk.
I'm drunk, so. So that's where that Brathian kid's been. He's just been on the blue row the whole time.
Oh, that blue row, kids. Never do it. Frank informs Gordon that pages found from Laura's diary suggest the existence of two Coopers. So this is just another kind of like little connect the dots thing that we already kind of knew, but now we know that characters are starting to learn it for themselves kind of thing.
Yes.
Which is not too bad, because they don't take up a lot of space, but it means that in story universe, it makes sense for these people to be getting the kind of, as opposed to just getting vibes, they're actually getting confirmation of vibes, which is good.
Yes.
Albert tells Tammy about the first Blue Rose case, which was very interesting.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I don't know if Blue Rose means specifically just weird shit, or if it is actually linked specifically to doppelgangers, because this was a case of someone who had a kind of a twin that they killed, although he said they had no biological twin at all. So it lends itself to be a doppelganger, which is cool.
Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
The only thing that took me out of the story,
I know what you're about to say.
is the Android 5000 going initiate blinking sequence initiated complete.
In Game of Thrones we have Bran. In Twin Peaks we have Tammy.
Yeah, at least he's supposed to be like a robot. I don't know what her excuse is. Oh wait, I do. She can't act.
Beep boop.
She sucks. Terrible. I don't care if she's hot. She sucks. She's shit.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she kind of becomes some kind of robot badass at the end, or emotes in some way. You know,
she turns into a robot like Michael Jackson in Moonraker. Moonraker? No, that's Roger James Bond.
I know what you mean.
Moonwalker. The one where he turns into a car and then a giant robot. And it was the greatest thing ever when I was a kid. And I watched it back as an adult and realised it was really stupid.
I wanted the Genesis game. Or the Mega Drive game, if you're from the UK.
I remember the Mega Drive game. I used to love that as well. And then you play it back now, and you're like, it's not good. It wasn't even good for its time.
Yeah.
It was always bad.
Although, incidentally, I saw on the Twin Peaks subreddit, someone had done an art project where they just got a load of old Mega Drive or Genesis carts, and they'd kind of created a sticker for them saying Twin Peaks the game, and they kind of designed the art for it, and it was really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I bet it's like, on the cart is like Madden 94 or something.
Wait, this isn't Twin Peaks?
Yeah, but they were really nice looking. They kind of, you know how the Mega Drive had those kind of small squash carts, and then they had the like slightly taller ones with the weird kind of like plastic block on the left hand side.
Yeah, that was usually like EA usually had.
Yeah, those. Sports games. Yeah, which makes me think they are just Maddens, but
yeah,
it's really cool. I'll have to find the link and put it in the show notes. Getting back to that scene, we get some confirmation about something we were not really suspecting at all.
No.
And that is that Diane is estranged from her, did she say twin sister or half sister?
Half sister.
That's it, half sister. So Janie E is related to Diane, and they haven't talked to each other in ages, but she provides the hint that he's arrested. She's married to Douglas Jones, or everyone calls him Dougie.
Huge.
And we cut to Las Vegas, the FBI office in Las Vegas. I love this scene. It just completely made me burst out laughing because I was not expecting it.
No.
And incidentally, Gordon could have made their job a lot easier by mentioning that he's married to Janie E, but he neglects to tell them that. And instead asks for the locations of all Douglas Jones. And the guy's reaction was just amazing.
How are we going to find them all? It's what we do!
How many times do I have to tell you?
I loved it.
You can't help but think when they're in the writing room, they think of something funny and they write it, but they also kind of think about, you know, the meme quality of some of these things, because we've been given so many blessed memes this series.
I just loved it. I absolutely loved it.
After I finished watching the episode and went on the subreddit, it was the first thing I saw was someone just, you know, literally screenshotting this scene with the writing on the screen of the subtitles, and that was it.
Oh, it's so good. It was just so perfect. It was so Twin Peaks.
And it kind of like adds to the mythos as well of that Gordon Cole is kind of revered. That he's like this kind of like what's the word? He's kind of seasoned. He is like he's been through some shit, as we find out as he recalls. Before he recalls the dream, we found out that the first Blue Rose case was attended by Philip Jeffries and Cole.
Mm-hmm. Which is very interesting.
Yes, everybody who's worked with Blue Rose, with, well, I guess the exception of Cole, although he has seen shit too, is kind of MIA at the moment.
It's very interesting that, again, like, Philip Jeffries is such an important character.
Yeah.
And
we got
in the background.
We got some footage of him at least this episode, although it was Fire Walk With Me footage.
Oh, speaking of that, actually, I was talking to a couple of friends, and one of them noticed that they changed the dialogue. They changed David Bowie's lines slightly. I think in the original one he says something like, and he points at Coop. He sees Cooper, looks a bit concerned, and he says, "Who do you think this is standing there?" or something.
Mm-hmm.
They changed this to that. Or the other way around, sorry.
Oh, okay. That's really subtle, but...
Yeah, really weird.
Because and I love this scene, by the way it's presented. It's a great way to do a dream scene. Because obviously he's narrating it, which you usually get with dream scenes, but he kind of like, he's saying like the lines of dialogue at the same time as other people are saying the lines of dialogue as well.
Yeah.
So really nicely done, stylistically, and the way, because it's you're expecting something to happen because this is David Lynch doing a dream scene, and the most memorable one that sticks out is the Mulholland Drive one with the thing behind the diner. So you're expecting something. It's kind of building tension, and although it's interesting that he said Cooper was standing behind him, and it looked to be, although it was Cooper in his FBI suit, it was Cooper our age, sort of like the age he is now. So
yeah, he did look a little bit younger.
I just think people are going to be like analysing this dream scene for clues.
Yep. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means something. It all has to mean something.
Then
no,
yeah, because now's a good time to mention that I kind of sort of half guessed right in regards to who says the line. Yes, I said that it was going to be, well, we picked 3 people, so to be honest, we have a pretty good chance, and the fact that we don't get it usually is shit. But I said that I thought it would be Cole, and it was Cole, but he was repeating Monica Bellucci, so really I should have guessed Monica Bellucci.
So you were technically right.
Yes, it depends, because they both say the exact same line, so it could be either.
Technically right, yeah.
But because he was repeating what she said, I'm kind of going to chalk it up as a half win.
That's fair.
Chad is arrested. Yes. This was lovely. This was glorious.
So satisfying.
And just the way he said, "We've been on to you for months. We know everything that you've been doing."
We've been watching you for ages, you dork.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because they put up with his passive-aggressive bullshit when he was leaving the room while still eating and stuff. And like all that time, they knew everything, and they were just letting him kind of sit around thinking he was pig and shit, getting away with everything.
Oh, yeah.
And it was perfect.
It's like they were fucking with him.
Yeah, and it was just like, we're all going up to the woods now. There's no way we're leaving him in charge.
Yeah, so...
Put him in a cell.
Get in a cell, you dickhead.
Yeah.
And have a bath or something. He looks like he stinks.
Yeah.
Have a shower, Chad.
It's just, well, Chad is where he belongs now, and we'll get on to the later scene, but yeah, definitely.
And now he's been absolutely tormented.
Yeah.
Which was glorious.
It was. Okay, so Frank, Hawk, Bobby, and Andy follow Major Briggs's instructions. They go up to Jack Rabbit Palace in the woods. Just great to see Bobby smiling again and talking and doing stuff. But here's where shit really started to go down. Which, to be fair, Major Briggs said that it would. He said, take, a handful of soil, walk over to this place, etc., etc. Now, I've read lots of theories about this. I think it's fair to assume, although we still haven't had any kind of explicit confirmation, I don't think we ever will.
No.
But because the scene was in black and white, because the scene was dressed in a kind of decor that resembled the same one that we saw question mark in, who we now know is the fireman.
The fireman.
Previously in episode 8, it's fairly safe to assume that this is the White Lodge.
I'm almost certain it's the White Lodge.
And it makes sense that Andy is the person to enter it.
Yeah.
I feel he's a genuine, honest, caring character, and I've read several kinds of theories on this because obviously they follow Major Briggs's instructions and they find Nado, the character, the lady who was in all the way back in episode 3, who was presumably trying to help Cooper when she fell from the ceiling of that kind of spaceship thing in space.
Yeah, the box, the electricity and with the weird things.
Yes, blue rose, kind of like rosebud. And she fell presumably all the way to Earth, which is interesting. We kind of won't talk about what that means kind of like metaphysically, but and interesting as well because Philip Jeffries, aka David Bowie, was in a film called
The Man Who Fell to Earth.
Exactly. So
it's good. It's weird.
Yeah,
really weird.
And she's obviously very distressed and naked. So I saw many people suggest that the reason why Andy is granted access to the White Lodge is because he's trying to comfort her. And obviously, going back to season 2, Hawk was saying about entering the lodges that you can either only enter with kind of like fear or love.
Yes.
And so the reason why Wyndham Earl can get in is through Annie's fear, and the reason why Coop can enter is because of love.
Yeah, because he's trying to save Annie.
Yeah. So the fact that he was compassionate, and I mean he is just genuinely, Andy is a compassionate character.
Yeah, he's pretty much like, I wouldn't say 100% pure of heart because no one really is. But
well, he did do that shit with the chair. He was passive aggressive with the chair.
But out of all of them, I think it made sense that he would be the one that. Although I thought maybe it would be Hawk.
Well, yeah, I mean Hawk has got the kind of, without getting too racist about it, the heritage. So
well, it's not racist. He does.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not saying he's
just
now, some kind of magical Native American, but yeah,
he has a spiritual bond.
He does, and he knows shit about the lodges and the way things work and that kind of thing, and also that thing we definitely shouldn't ask about. So Andy is transported to the Black Lodge, the White Lodge even. He talks to the fireman, who basically then shows him a lot of stuff that we've already seen. So kind of, Andy sits down and watches Twin Peaks box set.
Watches the footnotes. all but who was the killer.
Yeah. Yeah, it shows him visions of the events in New Mexico. It shows Laura, 2 Coopers. It showed Lucy as well.
Yeah, I wonder if... I don't know, like when I was watching that and when you never saw what it was she was looking at, I was thinking, is it going to be Coop? Is that going to be like a scene later on where she's like, he's taking her out to show that Coop's there?
Yeah, possibly. It definitely seemed to be something we haven't seen yet. So, kind of like he was watching flashback stuff and then kind of caught up to future stuff.
Yes.
And what's interesting about that is the electrical pole with the number 6 on it.
It's shown 3 times, wasn't it?
Yes, we're shown 3 times.
It's 666. Ah!
That's the low hanging fruit. I'm not sure if it means everything is kind of satanic. I think it's more kind of like perhaps we've seen that pole. Have we seen it 3 times now? We saw it in Firewalk with Me. What we saw, I think we saw pole like that twice in Firewalk with Me. Chet Desmond saw one and then disappeared. In the old Trout Motel Park thing.
Yes.
We saw the cross section with the other pole in Firewalk with Me, and we also saw that same cross section this season as well. So I don't know.
Maybe we have seen it 3 times.
It's interesting. I hadn't really thought about it until now, but I think we have seen it 3 times. It's not exactly the same pole though, but they do look very similar. So
They do look very similar. I also liked the strange lament configuration box that the fireman gave him. It's like you've put a plant in the lament configuration box. Are you mad?
Yeah. I wasn't quite, because obviously that scene was kind of extended, and for a while before the smoke appeared, I was just kind of like, just sitting there waiting for something to happen. I thought, what the hell has he got in his hands? But then, yeah,
It's weird. Again, when I say it like I'm surprised. I think it was really interesting that they showed the experiment as well.
Yes.
Oh, that thing is just. It's not creepy when it's floating and vomiting, because that's not creepy. It's just when it's like obscured in darkness and blurred. It's just something really inherently creepy about it. I think it's just because it plays on those very primal fears, even fears you have as like a child, like the thing I was scared of when I was a kid. I was scared of the dark, like greatly scared of the dark. It still creeps me out now from personally.
Yeah.
It's like pitch black, it's just fucking creepy. It's not that I think it's not when I was a kid, sorry. When I was a kid, it's not that I thought there were monsters or things in the darkness. It's that there could be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's perfectly... It's not normal to be so incapacitated by fear of the dark that you can't function. But to be uneasy in the dark, I think is perfectly natural. It's your...
It's pretty natural.
Yeah, exactly. It's your kind of like... Your vision is impaired. There are things that could potentially be there. So it's all your instincts are based around kind of like either avoiding the dark or seeing by some kind of light. So
yeah,
it's like people say, like I have an irrational fear of spiders, or I have a irrational fear of falling from like a tall building or something. Well, I a lot of those things aren't irrational because they are normal things to be worried about. It's irrational if it arrests you to the point where you can't function in of like in society. So, because I get to the top of, I don't have vertigo, but I get to the top of a tall building, I look over the edge, I feel like I'm going to fall. You know?
No, I get what you mean.
You get that kind of pit of the stomach feeling. So,
and you get that weird thing in your brain that just looks over and goes, "Why don't you jump?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Why am I thinking about doing?" Shut up, brain.
We were watching because me and my wife recently we just gone through the Rush Hours again. So we watched Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3.
I love Rush Hour.
Not all at the same time. We kind of spaced it out. But there was one shot in one of those where someone looked over the side of a building and like literally, I kind of like we both kind of not convulsed, but kind of we both at the same time looked at each other and went, "Whoa." Because it, for some reason, the way they'd filmed it was so kind of realistic. I can't explain it. But then I can see the camera floating over the falls at the start of Twin Peaks, and I just think, oh, that's pretty. So it's not every time.
No, it's weird, isn't it? It's strange how only certain things can really invoke that feeling. It's weird. The brain is a stupid thing.
Well, yeah, and especially when it's being filled by all kinds of new knowledge by otherworldly beings.
Yeah.
But Andy seems to take it in his stride.
He took it really well.
Yeah. He returns to I guess we should say our plane of existence, but given all of these dream theories, maybe not. And he's carrying I'm going to call a Nido.
Yeah.
That's just the way my brain wants to pronounce that. And yet he takes charge.
Yeah, he really does.
She's important. We need to look after her. Let's go. And everyone else is just kind of like, oh, okay, I think something just happened.
Okay. Just before then as well, I thought it was really interesting with the other three. Mm-hmm. Were kind of walking around. It was. So I was talking to my aunt about this, and people and I had been saying that it was very similar to the shots we've had of the woodsman outside the convenience store.
Outside just the gas kind station, of like loitering and moving around.
Yeah, and how it was like the way it was and the effect they used as well. Apparently it's synced up quite similar.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was quite interesting.
That makes sense because they're not all Bookhouse boys, are they? But like you kind of get that sense that there's kind of like a parallel between Woodsman and Bookhouse boys. Bless you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Bobby's a Bookhouse boy now. It makes sense.
It would. Because Ed's, sort of friendly with him at the diner. So
yeah, everyone loves him now.
Yeah.
Well, except Shelley, because she's
Yeah.
How could you do it, Shelley?
I can't believe we're talking today about an episode where someone transcends reality to another plane. But like, this is also the series where, you know, a small town like waitress like runs out on her family to kiss a drug dealer. It's like
who may be a magician.
Yes, may well be a magician.
So strange. Oh, that's what I love about this show.
Yes, and we're getting towards. I don't want to say that the White Lodge was my favourite scene. I definitely feel it was the most important scene of the episode.
Yeah,
but we're getting to my favourite scene eventually.
Oh, is that with our Cockney friend?
Yes.
Hello, Governor.
Yeah.
Hello, James. I'm from London town. That's how people talk in the East End of London. You know the worst thing, right? That actor is actually from London.
Yeah.
He has to know people don't talk like that.
I know, but if that's what David wants, David gets, you know?
I want you to talk like that Dick Van Dyke. No, but David, that's not how people talk in London anymore. It's like, exaggerate, or a Cockney governor. You know, what was it he says? He's like, I thought what was it? Shit, what was it he says to James? It's something really, it's like pure Cockney slang.
Gregory Peck, Nick?
Oh, it was like, I thought, you know, it's like, who talks like this anymore? This is 2017.
I love it. Let's get on to that scene.
I like the scene.
Yeah,
it seems very interesting.
James learns from fellow Great Northern security guards, so they're working at the hotel. His friend Freddie, he asks him why he's got a green rubber glove on.
And he's crushing
walnuts. He's crushing walnuts.
He's crushing them, like they're exploding.
I know. At first, I was watching that thinking, what's going on here? Yeah, I didn't quite twig until he said, "Yeah, it's got super strength."
I was just like, are they bad? Are they bad nuts? They're just like old as shit.
Yeah, is there like they put that in there specifically to show that he was able to do it with his hand, and I still didn't pick up on it to begin with.
No, I didn't. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
But I will say, if you're listening to this now, as it's been released before the end of the Twin Peaks season, there is a festival in the UK. You're probably more equipped to talk about it than I am, Matt.
Basically, there's a. Let me just see. Let me go on the website.
Let's get some facts and information.
Let me get the right facts. I just want to make sure I get the correct list of guests. It's over the weekend on October 7th and the 8th. It's a 2-day event. You can get either you can get just a ticket for either day, or you can get a ticket for both days, which is what I've done. There's more guests this year than have been in previous years. There's 7 guests, I believe.
Yeah.
So we've got Sherilyn Fenn, who also plays Audrey Horne. She's back again. I think this is the 3rd or 2nd year she's done it.
Yeah.
We've got Kenneth Welsh, who played Wyndham Earle, which is really cool. Because I really like Kenneth Welsh. James Marshall's going to be there, who plays James Hurley. He was supposed to be there last year, I believe. I think it was last year. But he ended up getting an acting gig with something else, so he couldn't do it, which is perfectly fucking acceptable.
Yeah. Got to eat.
Oh yeah, you got to make money. Sabrina Sutherland, who was an executive producer.
She's an executive producer.
Jake Walder, who plays Freddy, the man with the super strong hand, the gun and glove. Sean Bolger, who played a detailer in this season, and the biggest one, which I am unbelievably excited about, is we're going to get Michael Horse, who plays fucking Deputy Hawk.
Yes,
it's going to be so cool.
Now, I'm excited about all of those people.
Yeah.
When they announced Freddy, as we know his character name is now. I kind of thought, oh, okay, we're reaching bottom of the barrel here. These are the people who are like, man A in background. How wrong I was. And I'm kind of a bit excited to go and meet him, like more than nearly everybody else in that list. This was my favourite scene of the episode. Easily.
It was good. That's things like, I really liked the scene. It was just, his fucking accent really, just like, after a while I'm like, what? Well, so I
bit
says,
laboured.
I want them gloves, innit? Oodie-doodie-doo.
It's a bit of a Danny Dyer.
Oh yes, that exactly. Daddy Doyle. But he was perfectly fine. It's just the accent felt like maybe he does. Maybe he actually talks like that. I don't think he does, but maybe he does. But
It felt just a bit. If he does talk like that, I bet he talks faster than that. It felt very kind of not laboured, but he was taking his time saying things.
Yeah, I mean, he probably does have he probably is from London. He probably does actually have a bit of a London accent. He probably does talk. Maybe he does talk a bit common. But he should really talk a bit more like this. So I had a dream and all that, but not like what I had a dream. What? Oh, Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we're doing a Michael Caine. Hello, my name's Freddie Sykes. Not a lot of people know that.
Green rubber glove.
but no. So yeah, those are the people who are going to be at the Twin Peaks Festival. It's going to be really cool. There's loads of shit to do.
Yeah, you're going for both days, aren't you?
Yes. I'm going to be staying at we'll try and get a night stay at a local B&B or something, even if it's in Camden. Mm-hmm. But there's loads and loads of stuff to do there. You've got the Double R Club, which is the cabaret show that my aunt and uncle they run.
Yes, of course.
They've been doing for years now.
What day is that on?
I think they might be doing it both days.
Oh, good, because I would like to see, I've seen, various things that your uncle does, kind of, they pop up on Facebook because I'm friends with you and you're friends with him. Yeah. And it would be interesting to finally kind of, if not meet him, at least see him in action doing his thing, because...
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's not even, there's no bias at all, because if there was, because I pay like everyone else to get into their shows, so there's no bias. If I didn't like it, I just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
But no, it's so the Double R Club will be there. There'll be Tibetan rock throwing, which is always funny. Because my uncle just just makes fun of everyone. There's I believe the train car is making a return, which was really cool. Which was they did it last year, and it was like a interactive performance. Really, they had people. They had 3 performers. One's Bob. And then 2 is Renette Pulowski and Laura Palmer, and you're in there with the them inside the train car, and it's just really cool to see.
Oh man, that sounds intense.
Really, it is really intense. It's really cool. So there's that. There's for some reason, much to the amusement of my aunt and uncle, one of the more popular things as the day goes on, towards the end, is Twingo, which is bingo with Twin Peaks characters, and basically, you get a sheet. It's a full sheet of paper with the trading cards that came out way back when, and they have balls, and then they pick one out, and then you punch a hole in it.
Oh, that sounds awesome! I love bingo.
Twingo, and you have to sprint up. But I think this year they're doing something slightly different.
Okay.
But it's still going to be Twingo, but they're just doing different cards, I think. There's loads. Lots of rooms. They show episodes of the show, which is really cool because you get to see it on a big screen. There's lots of coffee, donuts, all that kind of shit.
Yeah,
so,
and
if you're
the reason I had to pick a day because I've got to pay for me and the wife, and time's hard. Give me money. So we're going to go on the Saturday because I really want to see that documentary they're airing, the David Lynch one.
Oh yes.
So incidentally, if you're listening to this and you either met us at that festival or you've kind of heard of us from there, thank you. Please say hello. We'd love to hear from you because, those cards probably cost money and I'm poor. Give me money. So
give me money.
If you can't give us money, just give us a comment or say hi because we know a lot of bots listen to us, but it would be nice if some people did as well.
Yeah, they're not self-aware yet, so they can't actually talk to us. It's a bit sad.
We're expecting the first sentence, and it's just going to be like complete gibberish.
Do you like cam shows?
Oh yeah. Having said that, we usually get a comment a week on YouTube that is like, "Wow, great video. Make sure you allow this comment because it's got a link in it, and you're not supposed to link in comments, but you have to allow the comment to make it post." So, great video. Allow my comments. So, I instantly delete.
Yeah, it's like delete, go away. Yeah. Just be gone. Be gone, bot. You are not required. Fucking bots.
Yeah, but getting back to the scene.
Yes.
I found it was already quite like amusing and heartwarming for me to hear this kind of tale, because it was drawn out and long, but also, you know, there was some kind of charm to it. I mean, even though he was kind of talking a bit slow, and I had in my head the whole time that he'd walked into like Home Base or B&Q to get this rubber glove. And I could just imagine someone saying, you know, I can't sell it to you, there's only one in there.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Is like I could tell you that, but no, sorry sir, you can't have it. But I just want that one glove. I can't sell that to you, sir. But I just want the one glove.
And what I loved about this story as well is it started off normally. So I was just expecting a normal story. He was saying, like, you know, got a bit drunk, walked down an alleyway. Then a vortex appeared.
Yeah, and that's almost when James goes, "What?"
Yeah, you can see James just kind of like visibly like, okay, my friend's crazy. But then he kind of rolls with it. And what does he ask him at the end? I can't remember. But he asks him a genuine question about it, like it was all real, he just accepts it.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was though. And he turned up to his flight to Twin Peaks, and the tickets were already bought for him.
That's really interesting. So obviously he's going to be he has to be rather important if.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, you know, sort of like He said that they tried to take the glove off, but he started bleeding.
Yeah, like, that's not good.
No, but it kind of made me think that obviously it's going to serve a purpose. It kind of reminded me a little bit in a bad way of Shyamalan. What's it called? Fuck.
Shyamalan.
The Lady in the Water. Is that it?
Oh no.
That's the one where there's a character who's been like working out, but just with one arm as like an experiment. And
what kind of experiment is that?
Yeah, I know.
You'll get stronger in one arm.
Yeah, exactly. But like one arm is jacked and the other one is rubbish. And apparently, like in the climax of the movie, that, like, you know, it's the same as it's a fucking another Shyamalan. What Signs? It was that thing where it's like swing away, and he's like, it meant years later at that very precise moment to use the baseball bat to attack the alien or whatever.
Pretentious.
Do you know what I mean?
You think like it'd been better if she went, Mel, aliens, they don't like water. Get the super soaker.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, tell your brother to swing. Swing at what? He might have seen. What if they had like someone like trespassing who was drunk? And he's like, this must be what she means, and just like bashes his skull in.
Yeah.
She just said swing. That's all he knows.
Well, my wife is telling me on text, because obviously she listens through the floor every time I podcast, and helpfully helps me out with things. She said that it is definitely Lady in the Water. There's a guy who kind of just works out one side of his body, and that's his superpower.
That's not a superpower. That's being an idiot.
But the thing is that there's kind of like this prophetic moment where his life has led right up to that point, because he provides, you know, assistance in helping the Lady in the Water. I can't remember exactly how or why. Who cares?
But what if he was completely jacked? He'd be more useful.
Yeah, if he was completely jacked, he would be more useful. Or
Yeah,
maybe he
like
would
Braun
trip
Strowman.
because, like, you know, he's like so muscly. I don't know. But
that is not healthy for you.
what I'm trying to get to is that I think the Green Glove is going to be a moment like that where suddenly it makes sense and it is used. Now, that could be done tastefully and to a point where it doesn't seem too contrived, but it reminded me of Lady in the Water and by proxy Signs, so I'm kind of worried now. It'll be like, this is the moment they told me about.
He told me to do this. He just crushes Mr.
Or
C's
knocked
head.
his block off.
Oh my god, he's going to have an arm wrestling match with Mr. C.
An arm wrestling match. You called it. You called it. Yes, Mr. C's like, should we take it back to starting positions? He's like, nah, mate, I'm from London town.
Just like crushes his hand and just squeezes. It just crushes his face.
Well,
in like the goriest moment in the show, and it's like scanners and his head explodes. That'd be great.
Yep. You heard it here first.
I got it. I was right.
Seriously,
once,
if you're right about that, like I owe you like whatever drink you want. It could be like fancy champagne.
They're sipping it at the Twin Peaks festival.
Yeah,
right.
I'll turn up with a bottle. Like, oh, here you go. But to be fair, if you have called that, like, that is pretty good.
Absolutely amazing.
I don't know if I would be, if I would have those worries about contrivance, because it would just be awesome.
It's like you've been waiting for this moment for ages. For years, Gav. I'm in Twin Peaks. I'm in Washington. I did also think maybe it was it's going to be like a callback to the arm telling Coop to squeeze his arm off.
Oh yeah, that could be a good.
Squeeze his hand or squeeze his arm?
Squeeze his hand, but
yeah, squeeze his hand off.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could be wrong.
We don't know, but what we do know is that it's obviously been mentioned for a reason. So, unless it was just like David Lynch thought it'd be funny, but Oh, and Mark Frost, I should give credit. I mean, they are a partnership, and sometimes the dialogue, I'm guilty of it. I go onto the subreddit and I'm thinking, oh, David Lynch, you silly bugger. And then someone says, oh, yeah, this is pure Mark Frost dialogue. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough then. I should really pay attention.
And you're like, oh, shit, I forgot about him. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I would care about you more if you stopped writing paragraphs in your book about boxes.
What?
Yeah, I still haven't gone back to that book yet because of that box paragraph where it's just like, the box was made with cylindrical tube and nuts from it's like one of those things where it's like it was 9 by 5 in diameter and of a silvery grey substance called metal.
So it just reminded me of the missing pieces from Firewall Me. I want a 2x4. Like, no one cares. You don't have a 2x4. Oh, Jack Nance. So is that what George R. R. Martin's like writing like guest pieces for the book? Is he?
Apparently, if that's what he's like. I think we talked about this last week. Yeah.
God damn it,
but the box kills everyone.
It's the box. David Bowie's the box. Ah!
Oh, and the box from the first episode as well. Box.
Disappeared. Oh my God, it's about the box.
Maybe something is happening outside the box that we need to think about.
Oh, boo.
Okay.
We did get something really cool.
Oh, well,
which was just after this.
Yeah, but just to kind of put the cap on that scene, James goes to check on the boiler and hears some kind of strange noise.
Yeah.
Perhaps to do with the same noise that they're hearing elsewhere in the hotel.
Yeah, it was because they're security guards at the Great Northern, aren't they?
Yeah.
So that's actually what I was bringing up. There was something really genuinely unsettling about it. Because James looked a little disconcerted himself.
Yeah,
but up to that, he's quite calm and cool, and it's nice to see, like, even though they mentioned like the accident he had, he seems okay. I mean, it's such a big thing. Like in the first one's like, oh, he's never been right since the accident. Like, it seems alright to me.
Yeah, he seems fine.
Yeah, he seems like himself, maybe a bit better.
Oh, and it's his birthday as well. I forgot to say that.
Oh yeah, it's James' birthday, so he's not singing that fucking song. But
some fucker can canonically work out what day it's supposed to be and tell us what his birthday is.
Oh, someone's already trying that right now. They're like they're doing calculations on them. Like they've got Windows calculator up. They're writing it down on bits of scraps of paper, and they've got like connected dots. It's like that scene in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Charlie goes mad.
I really need to see It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Everyone talks about it. You do a lot, and you post memes about it, and I'm like, I wish I knew what this meant.
Actually, saying Charlie goes mad is no, Charlie always goes mad. There's one where they go to work in an office.
The picture I've seen of someone pointing at like a
Pepe Sylvia
board with pictures and stuff, I think is
Pepe
from
Sylvia. He's like, I've been trying to find Pepe Sylvia. There is no Pepe Sylvia. And the punchline's like that there is a Pepe Sylvia. All the people you've mentioned exist, and they've been asking for their mail for ages. And it turns out that Charlie's just gone a bit mad, and he's hallucinating people.
Oh dear.
He's like hallucinating like a private investigator standing next to him.
Oh, it's like a comedy, right? It is comedy.
Oh, it is. It's brilliant.
Cool. I do need to check it out. I know Danny DeVito's in it as well. I've seen clips of him like glistening and naked on your Facebook wall.
It's so funny. He's got a great line as well when they're I can't remember which episode it is. I've watched them all so many times, so they all kind of blend into one. And he's talking about when he goes, when I die, just throw me in the trash. But obviously, because he's Danny DeVito, he's like, throw me in the trash. It's brilliant. I love it. Oh, I love Danny DeVito.
But anyway, I should add it to the list. I need to get around to it at some point.
Yeah, but yeah, so some lunatic is already trying to figure out what day is James Hurley's birthday. I need to find out.
Yeah, get back to us on that.
But then actually the next thing is
this is pretty much the end of the episode now. It's this last bit, isn't it? So yeah, go for it.
Was probably, but I really like the stuff with the White Lodge and finding out that the giant is actually called the Fireman, which is interesting.
Yes, and we neglected to mention it was the fireman that gave Freddie the advice about the glove.
Yes.
Said something about having the strength of a pile driver.
Yeah, I was like...
It's like, I can't imagine him saying that, but fair enough. Yeah. Maybe pile driver's really hard to say backwards, so they didn't film that scene.
It's like pole drivers in like wrestling maneuver, because I suppose that means they could break their neck, I guess. Because pole drivers, if you fuck them up, you're all broken leg city. Yeah, I think besides the White Lodge, actually a lot. I most of this episode, to be fair, but the White Lodge was probably one of my favourite bits. But this was I don't think I mentioned it last week, but I was thinking something on the lines of what came up. We go back to our good old friend, poor old Sarah, who just wants to get drunk because, I don't blame her for living the way she does when her husband was inhabited by a murderous spirit that killed both your daughter and your niece. Mm-hmm. And she repeatedly raped your daughter and then killed her. And inhabiting the body of your husband.
Whether there was compliance there or not, there was some kind of... I think on some level she knew what was going on, or at least had vibes. So, she was as much a victim of that, and not a perpetrator, but, she also wasn't the best mother either.
No. But I think that's because Bob was keeping her drugged. But
or maybe it's because she's a frog roach inside her face.
Oh my god, maybe it is. But
we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. But yeah, so she goes to a bar. What was it, the number 9 bar or something?
Yeah, Elk bar. Elk
bar. And it was like #9, number 9. So that's the 9th in your chain.
Every bar in Twin Peaks must have neon lights. It's the law.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true actually. So poor old Sarah, she gets a Bloody Mary. Sits down, and as soon as the camera cut to the guy with the baseball cap, I knew it was gonna go along very stereotypical lines of, "Well, how's it going there? You want some company? You don't need a girl."
I just want to add about the Bloody Mary. Going back to what we were talking about last, I said I get like a kind of a carnivorous vibe from Sarah Palmer at the moment. I think the Bloody Mary kind of like plays into that. It's not like it. Obviously, it's not animal. It's not like drinking an actual animal's blood or anything. But it's just the kind of the synonymousness of Bloody Mary with like, kind of 666.
Yes. But yeah, so he comes over and very stereotypically, there's nothing wrong with that because it's a good trope.
The first redneck ever to discover the word country sounds like country.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, what a dick. What's gonna? We deserve that. But so he comes out. He had a great T-shirt that just said "Truck You."
Yeah.
And then he looked scummy. He had like missing. He didn't even have it wasn't so much missing teeth. It looked like his teeth were broken. And he's trying to almost just like, can you just go and sit back down, please? And that's Sarah at that point. I absolutely believe that.
I think that's interesting. Actually, is that she clearly doesn't want to have to do it. It's not like she's murderous or possessed with some kind of bloodlust.
Although I think it may be a Bob situation. It's not Bob, but it's his Bob situation. Just because she acts a lot like herself, and then all of a sudden something switches.
Yeah, that's true.
So she's saying, "Please, can you just?" And she seems very earnest, like, "Please, just go and sit down." And then he starts getting really nasty, and her whole disposition changes. Her whole body language changes. And she just turns around and it was very, very, very creepy, just the way she looks at him. "I'll eat you alive."
Yeah.
You're like, what? This is creepy. So he calls her a lesbian. He basically calls her a cunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then she proceeds to remove her face, very much like Laura Palmer did in the Black Lodge.
Yes.
Except that she had light behind her face.
Mm-hmm.
She was her face. And then we see some sort of abyss behind it.
We see all sorts of things, and it's very hard to make out. But
yeah, we see a hand and then a big smiling grin.
Yes, that's hard to miss.
And I was like, that's creepy. she puts her face back on and then proceeds to very quickly rip his throat out
completely. Yeah.
And that was a moment that had me in that really took me back because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting she'd do that and he would like run off going, "Oh, freak!" Instead, like she's like, "Hey, I'm going to show you this really creepy thing, and then I'm going to rip your throat out."
Yep.
And it was great because like she had no blood on her because she did it so fucking quick.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she turns back into Sarah again. She starts freaking out. And then the barman comes over and is like, "Oh, well, what happened? What happened?" She says, "Oh, he just fell over. I don't know." And then he says, "Well, we'll see about that."
Yeah.
And then she just just switches and really coldly. I can't remember what it is exactly she says, but she just says something along the lines of, crying shame.
Yeah, something along those lines. She basically kind of underlines you don't want to mess with this. And to be fair, to his credit, I mean, me and my wife were both saying out loud, this guy's got, like, you know, he's sensible.
Yeah.
He sees what is presented in front of him, and someone kind of underlines the point to him. He goes, okay.
Yeah. It's like, I don't believe it. And then she just really coldly stares at him with those dead eyes.
Yeah, it clearly doesn't happen to him a lot because he says something like to his partner or whatever, call someone. We
got a cold one over here. We got a dead one. But yeah, so and then she leaves. But see, I don't think I mentioned it last week, but I was thinking that after we had the scene when she's in the supermarket and she freaks out the jerky and says something like men are coming, and then that was like, I believe I was like, yeah, that's Sarah. But then when Hawk arrived, she was acting really weird. She
does seem split. It's not clear cut. It's not a case of she is evil or she is, you know, terrified. She's kind of like, she's flitting between, and she's having kind of moments that seem to definitely kind of like jar against other moments. So sort of do imply some other kind of like thing there.
Yeah, and I was wondering if maybe, in fact, I think that it's probably the case that she's inhabited by a Black Lodge spirit, like her husband was. Because it would make the most sense.
Yeah, someone crunched the dates, and for her to be the girl in New Mexico that had the frog roach crawl inside her, apparently they do kind of line up the dates. It could feasibly be her. So I don't know if we'll ever get confirmation if that was her, but it seems to imply that, you know, sort of bad forces from both her father and her mother kind of like converging towards Laura Palmer.
Yeah. Although there is that, I'm thinking about that scene towards the end of season 2 when so this is the part when like Leland's dead, and she's just wants to be left alone now, which is understandable. But then she goes in. Dr. Jacoby takes her into the Double R diner to see Major Briggs, and if you remember, she leans forward and it's not really Sarah at that point, and she just says, "I'm in the Black Lodge with Dale."
Oh,
so I don't know if she has been replaced with her own doppelganger, or if it is like a Leland situation, which I think is more likely.
I have seen a lot of doppelganger theories recently. Pretty much everyone in their half sister is a doppelganger, supposedly.
I mean, this is the only one that really holds any kind of fruit.
Yeah, I feel so because the way she kind of like flits, is very suspect.
Yeah, she
hopefully it all will be revealed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe that's who they've got to protect Nido from.
Yeah, but perhaps she is kind of a conduit now for Black Lodge-ness.
Yeah, maybe she. I don't know if it's the experiment she's been possessed by, or if it's whatever was banging on the door, the thing that's called Mother.
Yeah.
Unless Mother is the experiment, I don't know. But that was like one of the big oh shit moments for me, like when I very loudly, very audibly said "oh shit," because I don't think anyone really expected that.
Yeah, no,
there was something wrong with her.
It certainly wasn't.
It was like oh shit, it's bad.
And I mean, at the most, even when she was taking the face off, I like you, I kind of expected her to go show him at the face, and then he kind of goes, "You're fucking crazy," and run off or something. I didn't expect her to then, like, you know,
rip his throat
exactly.
out. It's like she gave him ample time to fuck off.
Yep.
Can't say.
She underlined the point for him, and he carried on. I mean, like I said, the bartender, sensible.
I mean, exactly. Like whatever it is that's inhabiting her, it told him to piss off. You know, that's more than Bob would have done.
Exactly.
Bob just would have killed him.
Yeah, and I feel that is important as well.
She's
She's not just out to kill everyone or anyone. She seems to be kind of like
she's there. She's doing something.
Yeah, perhaps when terrified, almost catatonic, Sarah Palmer is kind of pushed or provoked to a point where something dark takes over.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of my favorite things in the episode, just because it was just so unexpected and it's raised all kinds of questions about one of the characters. Yeah, more strange effects, but yeah, I loved it. I think after that we just go on to the final scene, which is we meet 2 new characters.
Oh yes, but I've neglected a part, so I've forgotten a bit. So we'll go back and then we'll talk about that, because they discuss Billy, who
they do.
We meet previously in the episode when Nido is being made comfortable in the cell after Andy has returned her to the...
Oh, you think that's Billy?
I believe so. If you remember what... apparently these characters are called Megan and Sophie. And it's Megan who's talking about what happened. She said her mum is Tina. Now, we hear from, obviously... is his name Charles? Or Chuck? You know, Audrey's quote-unquote husband.
Oh, yes.
She was looking for Billy, and he called Tina to ask about Billy, because apparently she was the last one to see him.
Yes.
And we hear something on the phone that he doesn't tell Audrey, but seems to be, you know, some shit went down. Now, I would call busting into your house with your face cut open, like bleeding everywhere, like yelling, is you know, shit going down. So I think it's safe to assume that that's the same Billy that Audrey was talking about. And the way...
Oh, that is.
Yeah, so the way Megan described him, kind of like bleeding or like from his like nose and mouth, to me implied that it was the guy from the cell, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, remember there was the there was that scene with... I don't think we keep hearing his name, but we haven't actually seen him yet. I don't think that was him, because
okay,
because they've made such a point of that his name keeps coming up. So we had
well, I've heard some people discuss where we may have seen him before. The people I've seen discussing it said that the person who Andy was agreeing to meet, who didn't show up, who was the owner of Richard Horne, the truck that Richard Horne used to mow down that boy.
Yeah.
We see a scene of like him. I can't remember if he was running from his house or if the door was just ajar, but something bad happened to him. And people were saying, before we saw the guy in this episode, was saying that guy was Billy. Yeah. So, you know, connecting the dots, if that is Billy, then and something bad happened to him, and he would then run from his house to, I don't know, a neighbour's house and bust in, like, you know, babbling and bleeding. It could be the same guy. It could be.
But he was also one of the characters burst into the Double R diner and asked if anyone had seen Billy.
Yeah, that's true. So it could have been someone else who was looking for him.
Yeah.
We shall see. It's very interesting.
Apparently, the guy that was in the cell has been his character was called Drunk.
Okay, so not credited as Billy.
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, so I like this because of the connections people have made, but you know, as we both know, liking something isn't strong enough to make it happen. So we shall see. But it fits for now. So we'll see. We'll see.
It's very interesting though, because there's obviously something going on with Billy, and also there was something really unsettling about that whole moment when she just kept saying, "I can't remember if my uncle was there. I think he was there. I can't remember if he was there or not." And it was really just the way she
kept returning to that. Yeah,
yeah, and there was just something about the way the other woman, Sophie, the other way she was looking at her as well. and the music changed as soon as she mentioned Tina. And there's something very unsettling about the whole thing. And again, people saying it was very dreamlike, just the way she just keeps saying, "I think my uncle was there."
Yeah.
I can't remember if he was there or not. Like, you'd remember if he was there.
I know, and she keeps returning to it.
Yeah, and it's just something really weird. And it doesn't look like she's not like one of the other women we've seen that are clearly using. She's not like she's probably been taking. She's getting high on something. We know that, but she's not. Like,
she looks fairly normal.
Yeah, so there's something really bloody weird about, which I liked. I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's the last scene of the episode, and then we have we go straight into the worst song that they've played so far in the series.
Oh, I didn't think it was so bad.
Yeah, I hate it.
Okay, fair enough. I've heard the artist before because she's she kind of does like slightly country-ish rock music. I think she gets played on radio too at the moment in this country. So I'd heard the name before, Lissy.
That's a weird name, but yeah. Besides, I didn't really like the song, but besides that, it was a really, really good episode.
Yeah. It'll be interesting now because I feel like with this one in particular, even though we had some scenes that were allowed to breathe, like Freddie's kind of monologue, it felt like things were kind of gearing up a bit. There's a bit of momentum now, so it would be really weird. It would be totally Lynchian, but it would be pretty weird to break that momentum now and have another part 12. So
yeah, it'd be a bit of a disappointment, I think.
Yeah.
Especially because we've not got long left. We've got 3 weeks. That's it. You know, this is not the time to be introducing new characters and plodding along. It can't afford to do that now.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Part 15 is called "There's Some Fear in Letting Go." Let that muse for a minute. Think about that. There's some fear in letting go. I'm not sure who I would want to guess for that, to be honest.
I don't know.
I'm gonna guess Cole because it's brought me luck.
Why not?
There's some fear in letting go.
I reckon it will be said to Diane.
Okay.
Because she's saying about how she's estranged from Janie E. Because they've got to go to Las Vegas.
Now that they've said that they're estranged, it seems almost guaranteed that they will meet somehow.
Yeah, and now they've heard from Sheriff Truman that there is 2 Coopes.
Yeah.
There were 2 Coopers, so that, you know.
And it seems based on this episode, the FBI in Las Vegas looking for Dougie Jones, that in if not the next episode, the immediate one after, they'll be getting into contact with him somehow, and Janie E. I'll make that my second guess. Janie E.
Yes.
Gordon Cole, Janie E.
Good for a wild card.
Okay, Bobby Briggs.
Bobby Briggs?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, why not?
How about yourself?
You folks.
Got any guesses?
I'm going to just say
Same as me? Excellent.
Yes,
we're both winners. Or we're both screw-ups.
We lost.
We shall see. Interesting.
We shall indeed.
And so hang on. We might not be podcasting next week, so let's throw in some for the next episode, which is No Knock, No Doorbell. Now, to me, and this is just a gut feeling, that seems to me like they're going to approach someone's house and they're saying the plan is no knock, no doorbell. So I'm going to guess Cole. I'm going to guess Hawk. And I'm going to guess Wildcard. I'm going to guess... No, fuck it, I'm going to say it. Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Oh, I hope.
And I think maybe, I don't know why, but I get the sense that they're going to visit Sarah Palmer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
actually.
that's the vibe I get. No knock, no doorbell.
Yeah. They'll find out about the guy getting his throat ripped out.
Yeah.
Be told, she was right there, and he was talking to her as it happened. And they go, just go in and see what's going on. Because Hawk already knows there's something weird happening in the kitchen.
Yes, that's true. And they know he went to visit specifically because she threw the wobbly in the shop. So
yeah, so I think that makes that one makes sense. So it's not going to be that. It's going to be something else.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually Monica Bellucci with the wrench in the double R
in Cole's bedroom. I had a dream. I was sleeping with Monica Bellucci.
Oh, not this dream again, Cole.
Oh God, no, Cole. Actually, one thing we failed to mention when he was discussing the dream about Philip Jeffries.
Yeah.
Both Albert and Cole realised they forgot the whole experience. They'd forgotten it.
Yeah. And
really
that ties.
strange.
It's strange as well that it's the same episode as the one where Andy enters the White Lodge and the other three guys forget. So it seems that when you're visited or that this kind of vortex, parallel planes, steel beams. You know, I'm losing myself down.
I'm losing
myself down the conspiracy hole here. But basically, when some weird shit's happening, people tend to forget, which is interesting.
Which is a cool idea, really.
Yeah, so maybe
because otherwise everyone will know about all the weird stuff. Like,
do you know what?
This world's weird.
She couldn't remember if her uncle was there, could she?
Oh shit, that's a very good point.
Or maybe we're becoming Ouroboros and we're just eating our own shit.
That would be cool though. Well, I like the idea that in this universe there's almost like not always happening, but there's weird stuff everywhere. But because obviously it's obviously stronger in Twin Peaks because there's a direct doorway into the Black Lodge.
Yeah.
And obviously now we know the White Lodge as well, which is why otherwise Major Briggs wouldn't be there. But I like this idea that there is weird stuff throughout the world, mainly in Twin Peaks, but throughout the world. But obviously because there's something happens because it's fucking magic.
Oh, you've actually just reminded me of something else as well in mentioning Major Briggs. Another thing I read this week, as I was reading someone who, I'm not going to say that this is 100% true, okay? This, as I was reading the post, the person became more and more obsessed with dotting every single I, and so they decided there were about 10 doppelgangers in Twin Peaks. Now, now see, Twin Peaks, I get it. It's about twins. It's about doppelgangers. You know, that makes sense, okay? Yeah. And that's where this person started. So I was like, oh, cool. I hadn't thought about it that way before. You know, there's two mountains. You know, there's black and white. You know, there's the doppelgangers. It makes sense. Anyway, they said that they believed there was some kind of struggle with Major Briggs between him and his doppelganger, and it's his doppelganger that died in that fire. Now, it could be true, but I feel like that's the kind of shit that doesn't really matter at this point. I don't think you're going to get an answer on that.
He didn't die in a fire. He was taken to the lodge.
Yeah, no, he was, absolutely, and he's been used somehow, but both by himself. He appeared to Matthew Lillard and got those coordinates, but at the same time also he appears to be used in the fact that he has been killed and his body has been used to lead people away or to from Cooper. So it's
there's not
at the end of this season there are going to be a lot of questions, you know. I think we just have to accept that the important thing is that we get answers to the questions we want answered the most. So but I thought it was interesting, you know, the idea that he managed to fight his doppelganger and win, and his doppelganger kind of like he was caught in the fire instead or something.
Died in a fire because he's a twat. Fuck you, doppelganger.
And the other thing, of course, is that the fireman puts out fires, and the whole idea of Bob is that he's sort of born of fire. It's very interesting. Yeah, I pick up these little tidbits, and you know, a lot of them sound good in context, but then this person will will then dump 2,000 words explaining how Leland had a doppelganger as well, and didn't have Bob inside him.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's stupid because when he sees Leland's doppelganger, who says, "I didn't kill anybody," and then laughs because he didn't.
Yeah, and this person as well. There was a person underneath who very eloquently said, "No, this makes everything that makes Leland such a compelling character. Whether he was partially to blame. He was kind of like he had a hand in what Bob was making him do. At the same time, he was kind of complicit. So it's this grey, ambiguously." Sort of dark character who, has all these layers of depth, and then to turn around and say, no, it was his doppelganger. It's just like...
And also that wouldn't make any sense because once Bob leaves him, Bob, being the absolute piece of shit that he is, allows Leland to remember everything that he did.
Yeah.
Very suddenly, because Leland breaks down in tears when he realises he killed his daughter.
Mm.
Which is what makes Leland very sympathetic, because... It was something evil using his body to do evil things to his daughter.
Mm.
If it's his doppelganger, suddenly all that drama and the emotion of that scene in particular just goes out the window. It's just someone thinking that they're being smarter than they really are.
Yeah,
who is phone?
The problem is they come up with something initially that's very good. But then they feel the need to fit. Yeah, they feel the need to fit it into this kind of like grand master scheme.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, no, you had a good idea.
You lost me.
No, and too far.
Yeah. But we shall see. I mean, some of the things about that Billy character, I think they might be right, but we shall hopefully see. If anything, just so it means that we haven't got to see a new character show up that we've already seen him.
It's true. All right, Baldy. He's integral to this.
Oh, Billy is the one.
He is the one.
Yeah, look, episode 18. Billy is the one. No,
Billy's played by Keanu Reeves. I could totally.
I would watch that. Yeah.
Whoa.
I heard they're making a John Wick TV series. I really hope they still have him for the TV series. Otherwise, I'm not going to watch it.
Well, from what I've heard, it's I think it's called The Continental, so it's going to be about the...
oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, because I love the whole idea of that world.
They can just build that world and...
subculture.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, that's awesome. I had no idea when that's coming, but I'm suddenly excited for it.
Exactly. Because I really like...
John Wick's
I love
cool.
the whole world. I love the whole world. But yeah, I think if Keanu Reeves is in it, he'll be just like a reoccurring character that just pops up.
That would be cool, and kind of like a legend as well, because he is a legend in that world. Everyone's kind of heard of the Boogeyman. Join us on our John Wick podcast for more talk about John Wick and the Continental.
About the Continental.
So yeah, that's Twin Peaks. We'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about parts 15 and 16, and then it will be parts 17 and 18, the end.
The finale.
That's kind of scary and upsetting, but...
Yeah, it's so close.
Yeah, it's going to be a ride.
It's going to be sad.
It is. But we'll be able to kind of view the series as a whole after that. And I mean, like we said earlier, we're going to be going to the Twin Peaks Festival, so we'll probably do an episode about that. We'll probably do an episode about the final dossier when that comes out.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So you'll be getting sporadic Twin Peaks sidecast episodes for a little while after. Yes. So until then, enjoy Twin Peaks. Try not to get spoiled. If those spoilers really are out there, I shall be living inside my unplugged house. And until next time, stay cool, stay damned, stay Twin Peaks.
If you like Spoilers of the Damned, don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes.
Team Wolfcat production.